G'day everyone, Alex McKellar here again with another Top Split Racing replay. This week, round 5, we're at Barber Motorsports Park, of course. Challenging layout, a lot of fun, very underrated combination of track and car here, the Skippy at Barber Motorsports Park. A lot of fun, 15 laps, 15 of the best you might say. Reasonable strength of field here from memory. It was about 2,500 and something, but managed to put it on pole there. Been qualifying okay here this week. Just in front there of the Great Dane in the Chaos Engine powered Doggomobile. He started on the second row, on the front row, sorry. On the second row was Neil Gardner. And a long lost Panamanian brother in the Skippy, the fastest Panamanian on earth, Edwin Valerino. Haven't seen him forever. Great to see him back out there. Didn't really... Oh, Gherkin Demir's a SNS racer. That was about... Oh, Glenn Corrigan. He's a regular in the skips. We see him quite often, and it was a surprise to see him that far back, actually. Other than that, on Barry Stockdale, if I manage to find my way over the page, there's another SNS driver as well that I'm aware of down in there. Let's see him floating around as well. But look, that was the grid. Like I said, I've been qualifying okay in this one, in this combo, in this track and everything. It's been fine from that perspective, but the racing's been giving me some challenges. But we'll talk a bit more about that as we get there. We'll get everything up on the screen, and then we'll get going for this one. Get away cleanly enough, which is fine. I've really been working on my starts, and you can see there, did not lift, pinned it, attacked the first corner. Something to bear in mind is to try and get a sense of where you do regularly qualify in a race, or races like this, if this is your main series, and try that run to turn one. Try it a few times, practice it, and see if you can make the most of those starts. So there, I was able to just pin it and go. And if you do that and people haven't done that, it often be an advantage. I found out at Bathurst as well last week that I could sometimes get, you know, half to 3/4 of a second in the first sector just by doing stuff like that. But alas, not this time, because Dennis, Neil and Edwin were onto that, and right on my tail. I expected this one to be fairly action-packed, noting that Dennis likes to race. And Neil's been putting in the time in recent weeks, but he was immediately under pressure by Edwin in P4. Now, Edwin's I rating is about 3,300 at the moment, but there's a massive asterisk there because I don't know what he's been doing, but Edwin's a 5 to 6k Skippy driver every day of the week. So along with Dennis and Neil, Edwin was certainly one I had my eye on in this race. I figured, with all due respect to the others in the field, it was probably going to come down to the four of us. And I expected there to be some battling along the way. I actually came into the race when I saw the field thinking that my pace was on par, if not a smidge better, but in terms of actual wheel-to-wheel racing, I felt like both Dennis and Edwin in particular probably had the edge on me. So, you know, maybe I should charge them a bit of rent, being in my head for so long during this one, but I certainly had that as a factor when the lights went green, and I was, you know, I used the warm-up time and the balance of quality just to start thinking about how I was going to play it. But pace has been a thing as well. My pace has been good here, so there's been no opportunities. And for Dennis so far, draft is a big factor at this track, but what I was really trying to do in the opening stages was use all that cold tyre practice that I do, put it to good use, see if I couldn't break anyone, thin the herd a bit in this front group. It was a thin or a small chance, but it was a chance nonetheless. The little poor run through the penultimate corner there probably didn't help. Neil in P3 still holding off Edwin in P4 at this stage. Come through the sweeping right-hander at turn 2. Good fun that corner. As we come down into the main passing zone at the hairpin here on lap 3, still able to hold them off at the moment, which things are going okay so far, but you can hear and see the delta. You can hear the engine, the Chaos engine next to me in the Doggermobile makes his first move. This stage of the race, I'm not prepared to go too wide into the waterfall. Ask me again on lap 14, 15, it might be another story, but at this point, no thank you. As we get up the back straight once again, this time coming through that really challenging left-right combo. Neil's all over the back of us in the closing stages of lap 3. And we just settling in to P2 now. The thing working in my favour at the moment is that Edwin's still behind Neil. Neil not really looking like he wants to attack too much. And I was biding my time as to whether or not I needed to attack Dennis to defend from behind. But time would obviously tell. As we come down to the hairpin at turn 5 once again. Dennis leaves the door open. I show the nose and come underneath. Make sure hit that apex curb. Make sure you don't drift out. Don't want to. Well, one of the big risks you run in making a move there is pushing wide out into the car on the outside. I'm on the inside this time into the waterfall. Dennis, unlike me, doesn't want to back out in the early stages. I'm on the inside for that run through the waterfall, so I was okay being 2x2 because I was able to manage the space on my outside. I'm a lot more confident running through the inside of a sequence of corners like that, mainly because you have more control over the risk. There we go. That's how you go. 2x2 through the waterfall on lap 4. Not what was in my playbook, that's for sure, but we got it done. Four laps in and we're already side by side through one of the trickiest sequence of corners you'll see. Anyway, fourth, I briefly grabbed third for some reason through turn 1. It's fourth gear corner every day of the week. Maybe I was still a bit rattled from the 2x2 experience last time round, but this time we haven't quite got the run. Dennis looking almost to play defensive. Neil really starting to look like he wants to put pressure. Dennis making a mistake, and once again I'm alongside him into the waterfall. I felt I had a better run. I thought he might give a bit more ground this time because he didn't get the run, but again I think yes, we are going to go 2x2 through the waterfall once again, hence my tighter line, but this time we got it done and we're back in front. But this is a mega drafting zone here, and I expected Dennis to want to challenge here. My preferred line through here experience this week has been around the outside of 11 and the inside of 12. to come through 13. And it is really challenging 14. Multiple lines through 14 there to set up. Essentially, once you're approaching the apex of 14, you pin it through the final corner all the way through to turn 1. So very challenging to get that right because there's multiple lines through that penultimate corner. But you really need to find the one that works for you. And part of that can be contextually in the race. Do you want to defend the inside, compromise a little bit of the entry speed into the second to last corner, or do you want to open it up a bit, see if you can't get a bit more speed through the second to last corner? Have to manage the understeer through the final corner, but if you can get that right, it's faster. But there again, you do leave yourself open to attack on the inside of that turn 14A as it is. But yeah, interesting little riddle to unpack just in that one sort of sequence of corners in the final sector. But we're managing to hold on at the moment, but you'll notice that while we were dancing down waterfalls, Mr. Valerino, the fastest Panamanian on earth, has made his way past Mr. Gardner as Dennis shows the nose just to put me off my line, and he put me off my line a little bit, and immediately you can hear the low revs because I wasn't on the line that I wanted, didn't get the drive that I wanted, and I start defending. See, I took that narrower line into the second to last corner. We were just talking about it. So we managed to stave off the latest attack from the Doggo-mobile. And we're already on the start of lap 7. Relatively warm track. The lap times weren't anything to write home about. And we've got about half a second. But, of course, the draft here in particular, I don't know about anyone else, I found it very, very difficult to break draft here this week. It's cost me a couple of races, actually. Got in my head a bit. It's part of the nature of skippy racing, of course. Part of the fun of it, too. I had no illusions that I was going to break draft with these guys, though. Barring mistake, of course. Really fun little series of corners there at the waterfall. Getting that line right, and you drive it nothing like what it looks like on paper. Straight line in the apex in the middle. Forward is notionally a left-hand corner, and then you know, setting up ultimately for the right-hander out onto the straight. I've been struggling with my pace and line through that series there at 11 and 12, the sort of undulating fourth gear chicane. See, Dennis caught me a lot there as my run through that final sector was pretty poor. And he has a look on the inside at turn 1. Quite a common passing opportunity. Leaves me a lane on the outside, but I choose not to use it. And now, this is where things start to get real, because I've got Dennis in front of me and Edwin behind, both of whom I'm very mindful from, like I said, a wheel-to-wheel, elbows out racing perspective. I felt like they had a bit of an edge on me. So, based on, you know, many races of experience with them. And so I was really hoping to stay in the top 2 positions, because I felt like if I was going to have a chance to win, I could, you know, obviously do that best from first, but if I was in third, I was going to struggle to get past 2 of them at any point, because as soon as, for example, Edwin's in front of me, he'll be looking at Dennis more so than me. And getting past one of these guys is a challenge. Getting past 2 of them is, shall we say, a real challenge indeed. So, working hard to have eyes forward take a slightly narrower line there. You can see I was worried about Edwin. I probably shouldn't have been there and should have just taken the natural line, because Edwin's a smart racer. He wants to win as much as I do, and he knows that attacking through there just compromises our ability to hang on to Dennis. And if he gets away, we might be able to catch him. But as he makes a big mistake, not a big one, let's call it a small one, clips the grass on the exit of one, brings us right back into it. But as I was saying, we might be able to catch him as he takes a defensive line into the hairpin at 5. Well, it's actually 5B, but we'll call it turn 5. I left far too much room, and I can hear the Panamanian Skippy on my left. So I leave him a lane on the outside. We're going 2x2 again. Yes, no, we didn't end up going 2x2. Maybe I was a bit more aggressive in there to dissuade Edwin from having a look that time round. But the real game is afoot, because I'm struggling to keep eyes forward here because I've got Edwin behind me really starting to push the point. I suspect he and I are thinking exactly the same thing. I can win it from second, I can't win it from third. Me desperately trying to cling on to the position, he full attack mode, or thinking full attack mode, trying to get by. And meanwhile, it sort of gives Dennis a bit of a buffer, or a bit of breathing room at least, while we sort each other out. That's not how I want to be. I want to be putting pressure on Dennis. And the more pressure I can put on Dennis as I shortcut turn 1, not the best run through there, but I've been pretty strong through turn 2 this week, which is encouraging, because if you're strong through turn 2, it does just set you up into turn 5, which is, as I said, one of the main passing opportunities, if not the main passing opportunity. But the challenge with turn 5 as we run through it now, no pass attempted or defended, is that the inside isn't necessarily the best place to attack or defend, because you end up on the outside here as we run through the waterfall the next corner. And I can tell you, I haven't seen an overtake done around the outside of the waterfall yet. I've seen a bit of 2x2. We've seen some already this race, but the car on the inside tends to come out in front. We're a little bit closer this time, but not in a position to attack. And you see in the distance, well, not even a great distance, a little distance behind in P4 is Neil Gardner, still waiting patiently for his opportunity to move forward as well. Alright, 5 to go when we cross the line this time round. I got a better run this time. Dennis immediately moves to defend, and Edwin behind moves to attack. So I'm literally attacking to defend. Oh, see, I had to lift there. I wasn't sure Dennis was going to leave me a lane on the outside, because he kissed the curb at the inside of turn 1. It's going to spit him out, and that compromised me, and I've got Edwin all over me up the back. So I was actually going to defend on the outside, but Dennis comes across, which fills my braking zone, which means I need to brake earlier, which puts Edwin up the inside. I try to get the drive on the outside, but to no avail. And curses. But I'm back in third position, and somehow trying to get past a couple of the top racers going around. There are certainly guys with better pace than all 4 of us in this pack, but the 2 in front of me in particular, a couple of the best racers around. And as I said last week at Bathurst, we don't always get it right when you're doing heavy racing. Make mistakes, clip each other and all the rest of it. That's part of the deal though, when you sign up for races like these. And we all say our sorries and we move on when accidents happen, but that's not how we intend to race, and I've got full confidence in the guys around me in this one that that's never the intent. and we get on and we have a bit of fun. And now as we start lap 12, we've got 4 to go, which is not a lot of time. When you think about it, 4 times through turn 5, 4 times through the waterfall, 4 times through the final sector where the passing opportunities are, and I've got to make 2 overtakes in that time if I plan to win it. See, Dennis immediately goes defensive. Edwin opens the corner up and cuts back. It's very wide circuit, so there's plenty of room to cut back early and still get good drive. But Dennis boxes him out on the outside, forces Edwin to go around the outside at the waterfall. At this point, I'm not attacking. I'm really waiting for opportunities. Very narrow entry for Dennis into the waterfall. Edwin leaves him a lot of space. Oh, and Dennis. Wow, that was really smart by Edwin. Very smart move. He compromised Dennis on the entry to the waterfall, then left him the mistake, well, left him the room for, you know, you might call that a mistake, but I prefer to call that good tactics. He's always going to spew off on that tight line. Edwin left him the room and then came underneath him. Beautiful, beautiful maneuver there. Interesting to think how that series of corners played out from the hairpin at turn 5 all through to the bottom of the waterfall. Yeah, really interesting. Would you foresee that? Defending turn 5 the way Dennis did, ending up in the inside, the preferred line through the waterfall, but so tight that you spew out and the opponent comes underneath you. This is what I mean by good racing. Guys thinking 2, 3, 4 corners ahead, setting up the overtakes and executing them. Dennis, what's he going to do here? He's going to defend from me because I'm right there. He has to leave me a lane, and I'm thinking more confident. Brake a bit deeper. He's got Edwin in front of him, so he can't brake, but I just have not got that one right. It can be done. It's been done to me in this race, but I just haven't quite figured it yet. Great to be able to practice all this kind of stuff though too, you know, with guys that you can race with. Like I said, Edwin's been out of the skippies for a while. I don't know what he's done to burn all his I rating, but he's back in there for today at least. I really enjoy talking to Edwin and racing with him in particular. So it was good to see him back. And he hasn't disappointed so far, that's for sure. Alright, we're about to start. 2 laps to go. You can see I've made 0 forward progress. Edwin, the only one before Dennis, moves out sneakily just to make sure that I didn't have a look. I was thinking about looking in on the inside of turn 1 there. That little move to the left as we approach the braking zone, just enough to dissuade me, which of course was the intent. So it also means I don't have the run into a 5 here, and one more opportunity to expire. Try to get the better drive out of here. I feel like I got the better drive, but not enough. And in particular, if you take draft into account from Edwin in front, he said close right up, trying to put pressure on him. Very difficult to take your natural line through there, and he seemed quite a bit off it. Visibility is the big thing there. It's hard to see, to pick those lines through a cresting blind downhill chicane. When I say downhill, you're essentially chucking it off a cliff, right? So we've got the drive, we've got the run, we show the nose up the inside just to put him off his line, but he almost ignored it and took the line anyway. That's strong defense there. I try to open up the corner a little bit at the last minute when Neil's not attacking. Now we're down to the last lap. At this point I'm thinking, well, unless these two take each other out, I'm really I don't think I'm going to get two this lap. Dennis pushing very hard through turn one. Opens the door slightly. Unless these two take each other out, I'm not overtaking two. I'm just at this stage really hoping I can get Dennis in a moment of weakness exposed through the battle ahead. So Edwin he's got enough there, so he moves over to the left, not worried about having to defend into the waterfall. Dennis thought about dissuading him, he didn't think hard enough, so I disrupt him, show the nose, open up. I'm trying to open up so I can get an attacking opportunity at some point, but my compromised line on the narrow side of the waterfall means that was not a thing. Here though, the final sector coming up. Here is where things are decided. And Edwin moves out to the open. Now they're going 2 by 2. I want to try the over and under if I can. The over under's on. I get the good strong swing. See how quickly I approach them. Dennis wants to cut me off, but he can't. I'm already on the inside. Inside to the second to last corner means the outside to the final corner. Dennis pushes deep. Looks like a little bit of net coat there. Then I strongly come across, leave the lane on the inside, but get the better drive, and we get one. We get one to finish, and second overall. Strong race there by everyone involved. Tough one. Elbows out. Good racing. Let's go take a look at that last sequence that really sort of made it. Let's grab the chase view here. So my plan here coming in, as the guys in front were battling, right? So I've been trying quite a bit side by side through this sequence of corners, trying the outside if I get, because typically you think about, in this instance, a lot of people want to attack on the inside of the first corner, but what that does is put you on the outside of the second corner. So to counter that, you can try the over under and come underneath them. I've been trying that. I think Dennis here didn't get that opportunity because he's always got Edwin on his inside, right? Edwin played that very well because he then gets the inside. Dennis runs a bit wide. See how Edwin always leaves Dennis a lane there. You know, Dennis is a couple of car widths and off the track because he's pushing so hard. And Edwin, in theory, could be following him out, but he doesn't. He leaves him the lane there. That's good car control and good racing. And then Dennis does it. But typically what I've tried to do in Dennis's position is slow a little bit more through that part of the corner there and then try and come underneath through the right-hand section of the chicane. Now, what I was doing in this instance is exactly that. You can see how I've turned in later to compromise the first corner to mean that I can come underneath in the second corner. I thought briefly I might get 2 for 1, but again, I left the lane, left probably more room than I should have. I mean, I could have tracked all the way out because the move that I was trying to make was against a phantom car. There's no one beside me, right? But so I could probably track a lot further out, maintain more speed and come underneath in a stronger position against Dennis. But typically what would happen there, and has been happening to me, is that the car in front, let's imagine that the blue car's not there and it's just the red car. Because of my compromise in the first stage of the chicane, I don't carry enough speed through to the second part of the chicane and they can just come across. Again, imagining that blue car's not there, the red car just comes across. But because the blue car's there, and that's why it works this time, he leaves me, he creates the space for me to come underneath through the second phase of the final sector there. You can see he's just made space for me, not intentionally for my benefit, but for his own. And then you can see there's just a little bit of contact, which puts Dennis off enough for me to keep following the blue car through. I leave just maybe enough space. It's probably pretty cramped. He's had to climb a fair bit of the curb there on that tighter angle, but there's probably just enough space. It's been pretty elbows out racing, so I'll probably claim that one. And there you go. And Neil sniffing around at the end. Hangs on for P4. Great one there. A lot of fun there. Very typical of the racing here this week. Let's take a look at the results then. Mr. Valerino, Mr. Edwin Valerino, fastest Panamanian on earth, proves it once again. Takes out a great victory in his return to the series. Great to see him. My friend down in Panama. I managed to hang on to second after qualifying first, of course, just ahead of the Chaos Engine powered Doggomobile. The Great Dane Dennis Johansson in P3. Neil Gardner, I don't know if he enjoyed that or not, trundling around behind us. I don't know the opportunities really presented themselves too much for him. Glenn Corrigan, who I mentioned at the start there in fifth, he was up 7 positions, qualified or failed to qualify where he might otherwise expected to have been, and made his way forward in the field with a really strong drive there, albeit that he was 9 seconds off the lead pack in the end. The lead pack separated by less than a second across the 4 cars. Goes to show what kind of race it was. So good fun out there. Now, as far as the results of that race goes, it was a 2,500 strength of field. Picked up about 8 hour rating for finishing second. Remarkable. Edwin, whose I rating is very much underdone at the moment, given what he's capable of. As you saw there today, picks up 79. And Dennis gets 7 and 11, etc., behind us. Now, I'm kind of at a curious point in the season, because if you look at the old spreadsheet, I was hoping to crack 7K. I'm already a bit past that now, so I'm starting to reevaluate my goals and what I want to achieve. But you can see one of the things I did want to achieve this, and the primary goal this season was to get out on the track more. If I pull up the spreadsheet so I can actually click on it, if I go to compare the last 2 seasons, and we'll make that a bit bigger so we can actually read it. I did 42 races in all of last season. I've done 77 so far this season. So I'm achieving that goal of getting out on track a lot more, which is, the main thing that I wanted to do, and enjoying it at the same time. And that's kind of what the hobby's all about, really, isn't it? Enjoying it. And I'm pleased to say that I can, genuinely say I have been. So thank you to the community for making that a lot of fun. But look, that might do us today. Check us out on YouTube. The Top Split, where you found this video, and all the other SNL and MNL replays are all up there when you're ready to find them. Then, of course, every Sunday night on the Top Split Twitch, Top Split TV Twitch channel, you'll find the SNL action. Sunday Night Lights, the hottest Skippy action. I expect this week to be no different. It will be epic. And, of course, the Discord community for the Top Split is where you'll find all the SNL stuff. Get in, it's a great community, and, get in amongst it. But thank you to everyone who does support those things for us, the likes, the subscribes, the thumbs up, all those things, the interaction, the comments, really do help us get the good word out there. Let me know what you thought of this one, how I could have played it a bit better, maybe got myself a win, which I'm hungry for at the moment. But anyway, there's always next week, and there's always the next Skippy race. But for now, folks, I'm Alex McKellar. Thanks for joining us, and until next time, ciao for now.